Thank you, John. Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Gosling. I'm the policy guy at APNIC. These are our standard slides, so not mine. Some I know more about than others, so I'll try and kind of skip over the ones I don't know so much about. It's our vision. This presentation is divided into three sections: serving, supporting, and cooperating. I'll kind of run through them individually, and I guess that'll become more obvious why they're called that. Serving first. That's the APNIC membership. We're on track for about 6,000, a little over 6,000 members this year. That's direct members at APNIC. We have a lot of NIRs. They've got around about 6,000 members. I think by the end of this year, we're expecting close to 13,000 members in total. We've been giving away a lot of IPv6, maybe not as much as we'd like to. As you can see, most of those are allocations, and most of them are the kind of standard default delegation sizes, 32 and 48 for allocations and assignments. The last little circle over here, the blue area is our kind of like for like, one click. So if you've got v4, you can get a similarly sized, appropriately sized v6 block automatically, but most people seem to go through the normal criteria. v4 delegations, we're still giving that out. We've got two pools. We've got our final/8 pool and a returns pool, which anything that we recover from the community or anything given to us from the IANA go into this second pool. And our members are allowed to dip into each of those pools independently. They can get a 22 from each pool, giving them a total of 21. As you can see in the middle circle there, most people go for the 22. So that's the total number from both pools. I guess there's not a lot of information in here. Quite a lot of them are new members. The NIRs, which is the big blue area, probably include new memberships as well. We're actually kind of running low, as you can imagine. I think we've got like half a /8. We'll probably run out of the final/8 soon being in maybe another year. We're planning to implement a waiting list on the second pool, which is the returns pool. So we'll run out of the final/8, but we'll still have a returns pool. So people will be restricted to a 22 only rather than the 21. Transfers going along. As you can see, it's kind of picking up slightly. These are 31st of March figures. So it looks like 2016 will be a pretty busy year for transfers. People do use the pre-approval service and the listing service, but not the majority, I guess. As you can see, the orange part there, in case I don't know how good those slides are from the back, the orange part is the inter-RIR transfers. That's been pretty stable, but we'll see how it goes this year. It looks a little bit, I didn't actually check the figures behind this graph, but it looks like it could be a big year for inter-RIR transfers. ASN assignments, the orange there is a 4-byte. We've always been pretty good at giving out 4-byte ASNs. We don't have a lot of 2-byte numbers left anyway. So you can see the inflection point there is when we started out giving 4-byte by default. So similar, if someone can't use that, they can return it, and if they've got a technical justification, can get a 2-byte. RDAP, well, we've implemented that last year. I won't go into that because I'm not an engineer, but I think that's all happening. It's been in production for a while now. RPKI, we've been pushing this pretty hard, kind of full-on marketing campaign, T-shirts and stickers and so on, and we, our member services team kind of proactively sit people down when they see them face to face and say, okay, here's your laptop, log in, make make your ROAs, and that's had a good effect. The statistic at the bottom is kind of the relevant one. I guess we've gone from less than 1% to 3.24% in 15 months. So it's actually been shown to work. It's a pretty cool T-shirt, so I guess it kind of is a good incentive. But having a hostmaster sit with you and help. Actually, it's working really well because whenever they kind of find any user interface difficulties, they're able to report back to the software engineering team and tidy stuff up. So it kind of works as a kind of troubleshooting function as well. My APNIC, of course, it's always under improvement. Some stuff there in managing whois and whois updates, reverse DNS. It's something that's always ongoing. It's a lot of work, as I'm sure you can imagine. They did a little bit of work on the website. I was a bit hurt by that because I built the first one, or the last one, not the first one. So the front page got a kind of full overhaul and with kind of 5 dot navigations, and then the bottom half, or the bottom, most of it is from our blog. They overhauled the services web pages as well, which is very focused on people, on kind of actions that members take rather than kind of being in members. Information and statistics used to be all kind of scattered through that. This is something that they're planning to kind of go through the rest of the website as well, and then give the inside a look and feel that kind of fits with the front page. But that's an ongoing project. Training and development is really big in our region. We put a lot of effort into it. We did a survey training needs assessment last year, which came up with these. I won't go into too much detail to try and keep on time. There's a kind of trend, and it probably is shown better here. We're trying to move away from the kind of high travel, face-to-face training. Obviously that's still there, but if you look at the first quarter, that's 10 face-to-face courses, which would give us, if we were on track, 40 for the year compared to nearly 80 last year. What we're seeing is we've done a lot of work to rejig the e-learning, which is kind of webinar style e-learning, and tweaked the content of those, tweaked the scheduling of those, and we're getting a lot better results or a lot better attendance. We're also working with the RIP NCC a little bit, picking up some hints and tips from them about how we can move this CBT forward. And also video archives. We've been promoting that and putting more effort into getting training videos on YouTube, and that's working as well. As you can see, there's quite a fast increase there. Technical assistance, this is another part of our development thing. This is kind of a much more hands-on, where we take a member services person and a kind of engineer, quite often outsourced engineer, and do a kind of tour around a city or a country and meet with individual members and talk about their specific network and their needs, and try and troubleshoot any problems they're having, or give them advice how to deploy V6 or revert, whatever they're missing, RPKI. That's when we kind of sign up an RPKI candidate as well. So supporting policy at APNIC was a little bit quiet in the last meeting. We had a couple of changes that were implemented from the previous meeting, changing the criteria for IPv4 and AS numbers. I guess it made it a little easier, probably a little bit easier for enterprise as much as anything. We also, as part of the AS number policy change, changed the definition of it to move more away from the kind of multi-homing. Part of the driving factor was things like elastic bandwidth. People wanting, both kind of justification for both changes, I guess, were along the lines of people wanting to build their network for the future and architect for the future and have an ASN so that they can kind of turn it on and use it when they need it, rather than have to go and wait 24 hours for us to give But in our last meeting, I should stick on that a bit, our last meeting we had 0 policies to discuss, which was nice and easy for me. It was quite relaxing. Instead, we did some discussions around the who is, which I mentioned yesterday, which was kind of helpful. So the discussions for who is, we used to have a database working group, but we don't have one anymore, so that's kind of been adopted into the policy scene. We do a lot of NOG outreach, and there's a lot of NOGs in our region. I'll try and kind of speed up a bit. We help RIPE out with their Anchor and Atlas deployments, fellowships, LRoot, IPv6 outreach. Yep, we'll certainly do a lot of that, even some with the ITU. Some of that is high touch. So we, in Thailand, we do a kind of annual workshop, 5-day workshop in collaboration with the ITU, but we also, sponsored by the Australian government, do a technical assistance, which is, I think it's quite a long thing. It's kind of 7 days work or something, where we run a bit of a workshop for the country and then do this kind of high touch one-on-one work with individual organisations. That's been really well received as well. Adli Wahid, our security specialist, we work him pretty hard. He travels around a lot, presenting for NOGs, certs and LEAs. He's rarely in the office. He's in huge demand, but he's a great guy and very knowledgeable. APNIC Labs, I guess most of you are pretty familiar with the work that Jeff and his team do. So I kind of won't go into that because I'm not really across it. There is one really cute thing. I don't know whether you guys have seen this ASN visualization tool built by Byron. It's fun to play with, and I guess it's useful if you understand that kind of thing, but that's publicly available. Have a go, as it says. It's a great way to visualize what a country's network looks like, or networks. APNIC events, we obviously hold 2 conferences a year. We were just in Auckland, we'll be in Bangladesh later this year, and then we have a regional series of conferences we call ARMS. They're kind of sub-regional, and we did 16 economies last year, which is pretty good. I guess they'll be planning for the same sort of numbers this year. As I mentioned, the blog, which now features on the homepage, it's an award-winning blog now. Comms team are very proud of the award. It's quite a nice award, actually. It's been going really well. They're getting good numbers, good traffic on it, and that's increasing. I guess there's an open invitation. We take guest bloggers, and that can either be an interview or an email interview with one of our comms people, or you can write and submit. There's some great content. I probably don't write enough. It's kind of cute. We have, internally, each year we have the Blogie Awards, but pretty much everyone wins. But you get a nice little trophy for writing a blog. Our development program, ISIF, is a grants program for lots of different things. That slide actually is about research grants, which is a new thing. There's some more information you can read if you download it. Applications for those grants are open, I think, till May, end of May. Yeah. Cooperating. So we work with anyone that wants to work with us, pretty much. Global cooperation, IPv6, across IPv6, particularly with our colleagues in other RIRs and governments and the ITU, I guess, governments and intergovernmental organisations. I won't touch on that one. I guess we'll talk about that. RIR Collaboration, we kind of try and pick the best ideas from the other RIRs and we share back when we're asked. GGM's photos up there, he just did a long stint racing around the world. Well, not racing, I guess he was kind of on a long sabbatical where he went around and collaborated with a few researchers in different regions and enjoyed himself very much, I think. Next, as I say, we're in Bangladesh, and then after that we've got our 2017 meeting with Apricot in Vietnam, and then we'll be off to Taiwan. One last thing, our survey. We have a member and stakeholder survey, which we use to inform our strategic planning process. It's a stakeholder survey, so we welcome and encourage everyone outside the region as well as inside the region to participate. That looks like it opens in July. We're very social. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions for Adam?
Andrew Dole, ARIN AC. There's much less a question for you, Adam, and more a question for all of the RIRs. Are you guys coordinating your online training materials in any way to make sure you don't completely duplicate things and are building best of breed and that kind of stuff?
I can say that ARIN has a limited library of online training, and therefore it's well coordinated with not conflicting with the others. We have
Are you pointing to
we have a small number. We do ARIN specific, like ARIN online training, so there wouldn't be overlap. We don't do general training, general technical training or general similar, so I think we wouldn't see a conflict. I don't know about RIPE and APNIC.
Are you pointing at each other too, I think, where we're helpful?
I don't think, we haven't pointed people to training in our region. A lot of folks look for commercial services for that, but we're happy to do so if that's what the community wants us to do. We can build a directory or send pointers to the RIR training that's out there. It's a fine line between doing what we need to do versus doing something that might be stepping in the way of commercial activity in the region.
Just a thought for consideration.
You got another question on there?
I just wanted to mention that it's Vince Cerf from Google. I've been supporting Jeff Houston's research on IPv6 deployment and DNSSEC deployment through Google. Actually, he uses advertising mechanisms in AdSense in order to detect that data, and I've been very happy with Jeff's work, as I think many other people have. I just wanted to reinforce the utility of that research program.
Thank you, Vint. Yeah, if you haven't seen that, there's some great country-by-country statistics on V6 deployment on the lab site. There's a lot of content on labs that's well worth having a look at.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Kevin Bloomberg, The Wire, NAC. So two things. One, the visualization tool really shows the by country brilliantly with IPv4 and IPv6, and I strongly recommend everybody in this room, when we are talking about IPv6 adoption, to look at their country and see the disparity between the number of orgs, not the size, but the number of orgs that are doing it. The second thing was, I just wanted to go back to the AS, inter-RIR AS. So APNIC and RIPE both allow for it.
Yes.
Are there any restrictions in what kinds of AS, or is there no delineation in that? Not that it's...
Between 2 and 4 byte, do you
Yes.
mean? No, no.
Okay. And is there any plans that you know of in either community, if you would like to speak to this, to continue that practice, remove the practice, or is this something that we should be looking at adding into ours to make it a trifecta?
Andrew De La Haye, RIPE NCC. No, there's no discussion whatsoever on this topic in our region.
And there's no discussion in our region. To be honest, I don't think there's a huge demand for it. I would have to check what the numbers are. I can maybe try and check that overnight or and report later today.
There's no discussion in our region until just a moment ago.
Thank you.
Okay.